this. So, Claire, first of all, should you be apologizing to me for ruining my winner pick, or should I be apologizing to you for retroactively jinxing you?
I think you retroactively jinxed me. I actually was the original winner of Survivor 44. And then when you picked me, they literally went back, re-edited it, and voted me out first.
They do that sometimes. What went wrong? Why are you here talking to me?
Oh my God, so much went wrong. I feel like it was like a calamity of errors. Sometimes you win some, you lose some. I think in the end, 7 days in, having not gone to tribal, a bunch of factors worked together and led me to be sitting here with you right now.
But that's showbiz, baby.
That's showbiz, baby. Yes.
All right. So, tell me what was going on there, what you've sort of pieced together afterwards, because the way it looked, sort of watching it, it made it seem like that Danny was really kind of the only guy that wanted you out. That everyone else was like, I'd rather keep Claire, but Danny really wants her out. So tell me, did his vote just carry that much weight? How did he influence everyone to get rid of you?
It was really like that. Like, to be completely honest, if I think we had gone, we all kind of know, like, if we gone to tribal that first week, probably would have been me. Had we gone the second week, it probably wouldn't have been me. But there was like this weird shift that I felt. I feel like probably like mid day 6, where I was like, oh, Danny's not having me right now. And I don't know what, like exactly when, but this energy just shifted. And I knew that Danny was all of a sudden not trying to work with me and was going to be gunning for me. So I remember waking up on day 7, like dreading, just having this feeling that if we lost, he was going to be gunning for me. And his voice was just really loud, right? He was our like kind of biggest challenge strength guy. He was the one carrying the team. He was working a lot. He's just like a hummingbird kind of guy. And he really was able to like whip those votes. Plus, Matt not having a vote, like it just was a lot of things together. But it was definitely like day 6-ish. I noticed that Danny was like, it's time to go for Claire, and he just went hard. And Heidi decided that keeping Danny happy was more important than keeping me around. And so that's where I'm at.
What's it like when watching it back? I mean, we saw you say on TV, Danny doesn't have enough brains in his head to get rid of me. So what's it like watching that all play back?
I don't regret anything I said. I don't think I was wrong about it. I think I really meant more of like, he really truly thought he was pulling a fast one over on me. Like, I think it shows in the edit a little bit more of like, I was told to me that people were voting for me, but I was the original one, at least to flag it to myself. Like on day 7, we got back from the challenge. And after that kind of scene where Franny was apologizing, she did the challenge. She did a puzzle that was very hard. So I don't know why she's apologizing. Danny's like, does anyone get water? Me and Danny go alone to the water well. And he gives me this like fake plan. He's like, we're voting for Matt. You're the backup. And I was like, I'm the vote. It's me. And I remember being very distinctly like, okay, like, let me see how serious he is about this. So I was like, okay, but like, what if Matt, let me just like think through some scenarios. Like, what if Matt got an advantage while he was on the journey? And he was like, you're being irrational. And I was like, I'm done. I'm cooked. And so I remember walking back to camp, running to like Franny and Heidi and being like, we need to figure something out. And obviously we didn't figure it out. Heidi was really like non-committal, telling me whether or not she doesn't know if I'm worth keeping to my face. And then, going into tribal, I basically made the decision like midday that I was going to play my shot in the dark no matter what, and rode with that.
Yeah, you could tell her lying wasn't very good. Like you seem to piece it together. Like, yeah, okay. When she's like, I think so, a tribal.
I was like, honestly, like mercifully, could you at least pretend like you want to work with me? Or like, can you at least be honest and say you don't? But, I spent 7 days with her. I could kind of get the gist of when she was lying or when she was evading. And I think she was trying to, but it was a little obvious.
All right, let's talk about those immunity challenges or lack thereof. Take me through. This is what I want to know. Take me through those conversations. What were those conversations like when you guys are huddling up with your tribe before each challenge in terms of who was going to sit out? Tell me how those went.
So one thing I was very surprised about was honestly, like, I thought they kind of give you the full rundown of the challenge, what you see, everything. And then you and your tribe have like 45 seconds to strategize or like minutes to strategize. You have about 5 seconds before Jeff starts going, who's sitting out? Who's sitting out? He wants it to be like a quick decision. Kind of, you huddle together and you really quickly all do it. Our tribe, kind of the vibe was we'd all just go and stare at each other silently. And So in the first challenge, at that point, I like knew that there was going to be kind of a lot of heavy lifting, a lot of heavy pushing. I didn't want to be the caller. So I was like, let me take one for the team. No one wants to sit out. Like Heidi actively didn't want to sit out, and people were kind of like looking her way, looking my way. So I was like, let me sit out. I really wanted to get some time with Matthew, like premeditated, wanted to hang out with him and get some stuff from him. So that sit out was kind of the first one. I can go through the other two.
Yeah, please do it.
Yeah, so I think that kind of set a precedent, right? So the next challenge.
So the first one, just to be clear, the first one sounds like you volunteer. Like you're like,
Yeah.
I'll do it. Okay.
And sitting on that bench, I feel 100% happy with that, right? Like
Yeah.
that 4-hour slide puzzle challenge would have sucked. I ended up getting a lot of information that was really crucial to like my game, my allies' games, and also like obviously on Ratu. And I kind of like had this desire that I always wanted to, if I was sitting on the bench, like have it. And so I was like, another person sitting out, let's like do this.
That's why I picked you to win.
Yeah. And it was like totally, and I thought it was a great move.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the first. The second one, we get there, and again, it's one of those just like silent, like no one wants to do anything. They're kind of looking at me. I think Danny even goes like, it's okay, like it's fine. And again, I'm not going to be doing the snake puzzle at the end. I think people undervalue how much tribe cohesion matters in those early days. Like you're at camp, no one wants to disagree about anything. You could be building the worst shelter and no one's going to say, hey, let's like do it correctly, because you want to be the yes person constantly. And so I'm not going to be the one saying, no, put me in, let's do it. And so they looked at me, they stared at me. I said, I'll do it again. Jeff called it out, and I gave him as non of an answer as I could, because it really did feel like the group wanted me to do it. I was also okay with sitting out. I was thinking about it like a long game. So that happened next. And then by the third challenge, when we had 2 sit outs, it was like kind of a done deal. They looked at me, they assumed I wanted to. It's like at this point, you think about it, right? I've sat out of 2, we've won both.
Right.
I knew I was going to get this tribe strength challenge against me. So let's say we go, I don't play, we lose. I knew they were going to do Claire's week. Let's go for her. Let's say I go in and they say, what's the one difference in this challenge that wasn't the same the week before? Oh, Claire played, she must be the weakest. So I think by challenge 3, whether I sat out, whether I played, really wasn't going to change whether or not they were going to target me for being strong or not. So then the calculus goes, can I differentially win this challenge for my tribe? Franny and Matt had both said they'd practiced insanity puzzles a ton. I had practiced them a bit and didn't think that I was going to like crush it. So at that point, I was like, I'll sit out with Heidi. I'll try to like kind of whisper to her like, hey, they're going to be coming for me. Can you help me? I tried a few times. She was like, not feeling my vibe, I guess. She just like wanted to hug and like hold hands. And was like, okay, then save me. That's kind of the thought process for those sit outs.
So what are you thinking about when Probst not once, but then twice sort of questions that? Are you thinking just in terms of like game, are you thinking, all right, this isn't good that he's calling this out in front of everyone? Or were you not really thinking a lot about it?
I mean, I was thinking about it, but Probst, like, I think what you don't see is there's a lot of Matt chat, right? Like this right now, we aren't seeing a ton of Matt chat at the beginning, but we're talking to Probst for like a few minutes before, like maybe 5 to 6 of us will have little snippets talking about different things. So when he calls it out, you know, I just tried to kind of evade as much as I can. And like, I wasn't stressed if the other tribes thought I was weak, fine. Like I was hoping to kind of go into the merge, having people think I was like not gonna be a physically dominant threat. So I didn't mind that part. I kind of thought by season 44, people weren't like, kind of were thinking next level game. So I thought that there was like a little more to it, but that's kind of how I thought about it.
What about just like take game out of it for a second, Claire? What about just like on a personal level? Like you're out there in Fiji and you see these incredibly built challenges. Like, how are you feeling about just not being able to get out and have some fun and do them?
Oh, devastating. All I wanted to do was play. Like I'd be sitting there, and on the bench, you can't help your tribe. So like, I'd be sitting there like, oh no. And I wanted to play so badly. But again, I was thinking about this so strongly in the long term, probably should have been thinking a little bit more near term of like, am I going to regret just not playing a challenge? Maybe. But I was just thinking, I want to get to the individual challenges. Those are the ones that as a kid, I was like, I want to be the one hugging a pole like Parv, or I want to be the one, you know, doing different kind of individual challenges. And for me, the calculus was like, the best way for me to get to this merge is to let my tribe keep winning in the way that they do. Yeah, it definitely sucks because I wanted to play. I literally worked out every day for like 4 months. I was in the best shape of my life. I could have done any of those challenges, but I was really just thinking really long term. And so I kind of pushed that down and was like, I'll have fun doing other things on island, right? The challenges are a few hours every 3 days. There's a lot of things you don't see and that I got to do and had a lot of fun doing things around camp. I got to kind of break the sit-up bench a bit. Like all that was really fun. It was just a different Survivor experience.
Claire, the first 4 people voted out last season were all women. The first 3 people voted out this season were all women. You know, in the new era of Survivor, 10 of the 12 people voted out first from their tribe have been women. Is this just all a big coincidence?
I love the new era. I've loved season 41, 42, 43. It's not a coincidence, right? And this is how it goes, right? If you set up tribes, you have 3 tribes, no expectation of a swap. And I knew this going in, right? There's an incentive to keep your tribe as strong as possible. And then you can just get the physical threats out early merge. And so there's this interesting thing where, yes, if all of the challenges are lift a heavy block, push a heavy block, do things that are incredibly like taxing physically, you're going to favor tribe strength, which inherently favors larger men. What's interesting about it too, though, is like the puzzles are where it comes down to. And I think it wasn't showed in the episode, but I talked a lot about that of like, Soka always made it to the puzzle first. Where we kept getting second or where we lost was on a puzzle, not on whether we could dig faster or lift heavier or swim harder. We were losing ground on puzzles, which is not an inherently like physically brawny kind of thing. And so it was interesting to me because I personally like, and I think it's more of like the Tika approach, which was like, loyalty for me was more important than like physical dominance, especially when you're thinking about getting to the merge and making it further. I think it's a little like short-sighted, but yeah, I think in the new era, as long as there's no expectation of swaps and you start with 6 people, and you have people losing votes day one, it is going to be very difficult to have some of the smaller people or women make it through.
How's it been for you over the past 9-10 months dealing with being voted out first from your tribe? It's not sure the way you envisioned it in your head when you went out there.
No, I would say I've been a Survivor fan since I was 4 years old, like since the day one. And I have thought about applying. I've recorded myself since I was 18, but I've never submitted because I have a deep fear of failure, of embarrassment. And so this was the first time I ever took the plunge. I took the plunge. And I submitted and I played and I did a lot of pre-work of like, I might fall flat on my face. I might fail in epically and I need to be okay with that. So I actually did a lot of pre-work of like, I could be the first person voted out and I'm okay with that. I have a lot of things going on in my life that I'm proud of. I have family and friends who will love me no matter what. But it was devastating. But it's been a little fun, the past 8-9 months. It's fun doing like the pre-press when you're like, people still think I could be a winner when I'm like, I'm going to ruin your bracket. Like I'm going to lose. But yeah, I think as a lifelong Survivor fan, it's definitely given me a lot more empathy for pre-mergers. I think I'm going to become a vocal pre-merge rights advocate. But yeah, I think, I was talking to my therapist the other day and she was just like, remember like 4-year-old you or 9-year-old you. And like 9-year-old me wouldn't be yelling at myself for getting out first. She would be so excited that I was even playing and that I was there and that I played hard and I did it my way and I didn't hide who I was or how I interact with the world. And that has been like keeping me through of like, I did it. I applied, I showed up, I did my thing. No regrets, obviously regrets that I didn't win or make it further, but like, that's life and it's going to keep going. And I'd obviously love to play again and get another shot. But for now, this is a really great bookend. And I feel really happy with the friends I've made and the experiences I've had.
It's a great attitude and the way to have it. Just last one before I let you go. You got to tell me what's something that happened out there that didn't make it to TV that you wish we'd had a chance to see.
Probably my favorite thing is that, I don't know if you noticed, but in the first challenge, I got everyone water bottles because during mid-challenge, Survivor is freakishly fair. Like if one tribe's in the shade, everyone's in the shade, everything's measured to the T. And Brandon got a water bottle because he was obviously like dying. And I call over Jeff to the bench and I was like, I see Brandon has water. Is everyone getting water? And so mid-challenge, they had to go and give every single person a water bottle. I don't know when they've done that before, but I was also like, you're welcome. You got water. That was on me from the bench. And I think that was a fun one that was definitely not shown.
I think you've got a career at CBS Standards and Practices now. Like,
I will bring my measuring tape. I would love to be there. As a strong observer of challenges, I will be there and I'll keep them fair.